waiting on them to get the evidence. I don't see it as it's anything to laugh about.
Well, of course they have better things on their mind.
Miss Peters, look at this. Here. This is the one she was working on. And look at the sewing. All the rest of it is so nice and even. And look at over the place. Why, it looks as if she didn't know what she was about.
Oh. Well, what are you doing, Miss Hale?
Just pulling out a stitch or two. That's not sewed very good. Bad sewing always makes me fidgety.
I don't think you should touch things.
I'll just finish up this end, Miss Peters. This end. Miss Peters?
Yes, Miss Hale?
What do you suppose she was so nervous about?
I don't know. I don't know that she was nervous. Sometimes I sew a little queer when I'm just tired. Well, I better get these things wrapped up. They may be through sooner than we think. I wonder what we can find a piece of paper and a string.
In that cupboard, maybe.
Let me look. This way. Huh. Here's a bird cage. Did she have a bird, Miss Hale?
Why, I don't know whether she did or not. I've never been here for so long. There was a man around last year selling canaries cheap. But I don't know if she took one. She used to sing real pretty herself.
Seems funny to think a bird here, but she must have had one, or why would she have a cage? I wonder what happened to the bird.
I suppose maybe the cat got it.
No, she did not have a cat. She's got that feeling some people have about cats. Nothing afraid of them. My cat got in her room, and she was really upset and asked me to take it out.
My sister Bessie was like that. Queer, ain't it?
Hi. Look at this door. It looks like one of the hinges pulled apart.
Looks as if someone must have been rough with it.
Why, yes.
I wish if they're going to find any evidence, they'd be about it. I don't like this place.
But I am awful glad you came with me, Mrs. Hale. It would be very lonesome for me sitting in here alone.
It would, wouldn't it? But I tell you what I do wish, Miss Peters. I wish I had come over sometimes when she was here. I wish I had.
But of course you were awful busy, Miss Hale. You, your house, and your children.
I could have come. I stayed away because it weren't, and that's why I ought to have come. I've never liked this place. Maybe because it's down in a hollow, and you can't see and you don't see the road. I don't know what it is, but it's so lonesome, and always was. I wish I had come over to see Miss Minnie Foster sometimes. I can see now.
Well, you mustn't reproach yourself, Miss Hale. Somehow we don't see how it is with other folks until something comes up.
Not having children makes less work, but it makes work all day and no company when he did come in. Did you know John Wright, Miss Peters?
Not to know him. I have seen him in town. They say he was a good man.
Yes, good. He didn't drink, and he kept his word, well, as most, I guess, and paid his debts. But he was a hard man, Miss Peters, just to pass the time of day with him. Ugh, like a raw wind that gets to the bone. I should think she would have wanted a bird, but what do you suppose went with it?
I don't know, unless it got sick and died.
You weren't raised round here, were you? You didn't know her.
Well, not till they brought her in yesterday.
She come to think of it, she was kind of like a bird herself. Real sweet, pretty, but kind and timid, and fluttery. How she did change. Tell you what, Miss Peters, why don't you take the quilt in with you? It might make up her mind.
Well, I think that is a nice idea. There could possibly be any objection to it, now could there? Now, just what would I take? I wonder if her patches are in here. And her things.
Here's some red. I expect This has some sewing things in it. What a pretty box. Looks like something somebody would give you. Maybe her scissors are in here. Why, there's something wrapped up in silk.
Why? That isn't her scissors.
Oh, Miss Peters, it's
the bird.
But Miss Peters, look at it. Look at its neck. It's all other side too.
Somebody wrung its neck.
Marvin Gaye. Love you, then I hate you, then I love you again. Hate you, then I love you, then I hate you again. Lord.
Must have been rough with it.
Yeah.
Why, yes.
Why, yes.